Good afternoon and welcome to today's Lunch with Mia program from the Maryland Insurance Administration. My name is Patty Dorn and I'm going to be your moderator for today's event. Today we're going to be presenting information about rental vehicles, your right to protest automobile insurance rate increases, and a little bit about shopping for auto insurance. We all learn in different ways, and one way that we've learned to connect with Maryland insurance consumers is by presenting information as a scenario. So for this event, one person is going to read a common insurance scenario, and then it will be answered by our subject matter expert. Some housekeeping. A reminder, this event is being recorded. Please keep your cameras off and your mics on mute for the event. After we complete all the scenarios, I'm going to come back for a Q&A session. At any point during the scenarios, if you have a question, go ahead and use the chat. So put your question into the chat and also make sure that it's addressed to everyone. And then when I come back after all the scenarios are read through, we'll have that Q&A session and we'll read your questions. So with that, I'm going to introduce our subject matter expert today, Mary Jo Rogers, and Gia Wilkerson is going to be reading her the questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paula was recently involved in an accident and filed a claim under her collision coverage. An estimate was written and the payment was issued. Paula's car was towed to the shop she chose and she endorsed the check to the shop. Paula's insurer confirmed that her policy provided rental car coverage and her adjuster authorized a rental car for her. Paula picked up a rental, but now her insurer is telling her that they don't owe her for the full cost of the rental. Mary Jo, when Paula got to the rental car office, the employee told her they did not have a compact car and put her into a full-size SUV at a cost of $55 per day. Paula's adjuster told her that her policy only provides coverage for up to $30 a day. If Paula accepts the full-size SUV, will she have to pay the difference in cost?
Paula purchased a policy with loss of use coverage, or as it is commonly called, rental reimbursement coverage, with a limit of $30 a day up to 30 days. Even though it was not Paula's fault that there was no smaller cars available per the terms of her policy, the most her insurer must pay is the $30 daily limit. Paula would be responsible for the difference between the cost and her insurance coverage.
The repairs to Paula's car are taking more than 30 days to be finished because some of the parts are on back order. Neither Paula nor the shop caused a delay, but her insurer will not pay for a rental car for more than 30 days. Doesn't the insurer have to pay for the rental unit until her car is finished?
No. Although the delay is not Paula's fault, her policy only covers a rental car for up to 30 days, and the insurer is not required to pay anything beyond the limits of the coverage she purchased.
Paula's automobile policy includes collision coverage. Will Paula's collision coverage apply if Paula has an accident with the rental vehicle?
Under Maryland law, the collision coverage under Paula's automobile insurance policy would apply to the rental vehicle for at least the first 30 days of the rental. In this instance, since the vehicle is a temporary replacement for Paula's damaged vehicle, depending upon the terms of her policy, Paula's collision coverage may cover her rental vehicle for more than the 30 days. Paula may want to ask her insurance producer or insurer if her policy provides for a period longer than 30 days.
When Paula went to pick up the rental, the agent at the rental car company asked her if she wanted to purchase a collision damage waiver coverage or CDW. She didn't know what that was, but assumed she needed to purchase it in order to get the rental and agreed to it. Now her insurer says that they won't pay for the CDW. Doesn't the insurer have to pay for that?
The insurer does not likely owe Paula for the cost of the CDW coverage. A CDW is not insurance. A CDW means that the car rental company agrees, depending upon the terms of the contract, to waive some or all of the costs of property damages resulting from a car accident or other collision. Under Maryland law, CDW coverage is optional and a renter has the right to not purchase it. Since the CDW was not necessary to secure the rental, the insurer is not required to pay for it.
Miranda was involved in an accident caused by Bob. Bob's insurer accepted liability and is settling her claim. They have also agreed to provide a rental car while her vehicle is in the shop. Miranda has a full-size SUV. She has 4 children, 2 of whom are still in car seats, requiring the bigger car. Bob's insurer will only agree to pay for a small compact car, which would not be able to fit the 2 car seats and 2 additional children. The insurer told Miranda that if she wants a full-size SUV, she would have to pay the difference. Mary Jo, is this correct?
Generally, Bob's insurer must pay for a rental car comparable to the one damaged in the accident. Since Miranda damaged vehicle is a full-size SUV, the insurer may be required to pay for rental of a full-size SUV. She will need to include the costs in her claim for damages, and Bob's insurer will be liable for these costs as long as they are reasonable and necessary.
Well, Jake's car was struck by another driver who ran a red light. The other driver's insurer agreed to pay the claim. The driver advised Jake that his vehicle was a total loss and made him an offer. Jake feels the offer is too low and rejected it. Even though Jake and the insurer are still negotiating a settlement amount, the insurer is telling Jake that they will cancel his rental in 3 days. Can they do that?
Maybe. The insurer owes Jake for rental expenses he incurs for a comparable vehicle for a reasonable period of time. These cases require a case-by-case factual determination as to whether the car rental expense is reasonable and necessary given the facts of the case, and insurers can consider the time needed to determine that the vehicle is total loss, as well as the time needed for the insurer to make a settlement offer, among other factors.
Jake and the insurer were finally able to reach a settlement agreement, but Jake is waiting until he receives the check to begin shopping for a new car, which may take some time. The insurer has told him it will not pay for a rental car while he shops for a replacement car. Doesn't the insurer have to pay for a rental car until Jake finds a new car and finalizes the sale?
Generally, once the parties have reached a settlement agreement, the insurer may discontinue paying for a rental car, but ultimately it depends upon the facts of the case and if the continued rental car expenses are reasonable and necessary. If Jake is concerned about being on the hook for some or all of his rental car expenses, he may want to begin looking for a new car as soon as he learns his car is a total loss, so he can try to reduce the amount of time he will need that rental.
Andrea recently took her vehicle to the dealership for warranty work. The dealer provided a loaner card and asked for a copy of her insurance card at the time. Will Andrea's collision coverage extend to the loaner car?
Yes, under Maryland law, as long as Andrea carries collision coverage on the vehicle the dealer is working on, it will extend to the loaner vehicle for at least up to 30 days, since, again, it is a temporary substitute for the insured vehicle. Her policy may extend the period for longer than 30 days, though, so she may want to check her policy or reach out to her insurance producer or insurer to confirm.
Will Andrea's collision coverage also extend to a rental vehicle if she is having maintenance work done at her neighborhood mechanic shop and rents a car from a rental car place?
Yes, Maryland law requires that her policy's collision coverage cover the loaner or rental vehicle for up to 30 days while her car is in the shop. Her policy may extend that period for longer than 30 days. So again, she should check her policy or reach out to her insurance producer or insurer to confirm.
Susie heard that Andrea was able to rent a car while her car was being repaired and that her policy's collision coverage covered the rental too. Although Susie has comprehensive coverage on her car, she doesn't have collision coverage. Susie plans on borrowing a loaner car from the dealer when she has her warranty repairs done. Mary Jo, will Susie's insurance policy provide collision coverage for the loaner car?
No. Since Susie does not have collision coverage under her insurance policy, Maryland law does not require the policy to provide collision coverage for the loaner car. Maryland law only requires that the policy's collision coverage be extended to a rental car if the policy includes collision coverage.
Will her insurance policy provide comprehensive coverage for the loaner car?
Yes, Maryland law requires an insurance policy with comprehensive coverage to extend that coverage to the loaner car for up to 30 days because the loaner, again, is a temporary replacement vehicle. Depending upon the terms of the policy, comprehensive coverage may be extended to the loaner vehicle for more than 30 days. Susie can check her policy or reach out to her insurance producer or insurer to find out if her policy comprehensive coverage will extend to the loaner car for more than 30 days.
Adam's family is visiting from out of state. He will need to pick them up from the airport and will be taking them sightseeing and shopping. He only has a small car that holds 4 people, so he plans on renting a van to transport everyone while they are staying with him. His car is insured under a policy with both comprehensive and collision coverage. Will Adam's comprehensive coverage extend to the rental vehicle?
It will depend upon the terms of his policy, since he is renting the car for convenience and not because of loss, service, damages, or repairs. Adam can look at his policy or contact his insurance producer or insurer to verify if coverage will extend to the rental vehicle. If it does not, Adam might want to check with his credit card company, since some credit cards provide coverage if you use that card to rent the vehicle. Adam may also want to consider purchasing the comprehensive damage waiver from the rental vehicle company.
Okay, Adam has one last question about his rental vehicle. Will his collision coverage extend to the rental vehicle?
Since Adam has collision coverage under his policy for his car, Maryland law requires that coverage be extended for up to 30 days to a passenger car that is rented or used by the insured under a rental agreement or peer-to-peer car sharing program, regardless of the reason for the rental. His policy may extend the period for longer than 30 days, though, so he may want to check his policy or, again, reach out to his insurance producer or insurer to confirm.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gia. I'm going to be reading the next set of scenarios questions to Mary Jo. And this is private passenger auto. And this is about your right to protest insurance rate increases. So, first scenario, John was driving on a dark and winding road near his home when a deer ran in front of him. He tried to avoid the deer, but struck it, causing damage to his truck. When John contacted his insurer, they told him the accident would be recorded as a not at fault claim and paid under the comprehensive portion of his policy. When his renewal came due on his truck, his premium had increased by 14%. So Mary Jo, can John dispute this increase if he thinks it is unfair?
Yes. John can protest the premium increase by signing the right to protest form his insurer sent and sending it to the Maryland Insurance Administration, MIA, for review. The form may be sent as part of the renewal package or at renewal by a separate mailing. This form must be signed and sent within 30 days of the mailing date on the front of the notice of premium increase. The MIA will then review the protest and make a decision as to whether the increase is allowable under Maryland law.
So what does the MIA do when it receives a signed right of protest form?
Based on the information in the notice, the MIA will determine whether the insurer's action is consistent with the insurer's filed rating plan and the Maryland insurance article, and then make a decision whether it is allowable under Maryland's insurance law. The MIA will respond to John in writing with its decision.
And can the insurer increase a premium for a not at fault accident?
Yes. An insurer can increase the policy premium for a not at fault accident. The premium may increase as a result of a surcharge being imposed, being reclassified or reassigned to another risk category, retiering, or the removal or reduction of a discount, such as claims-free discount.
And while John's protest is under review, is he still going to have to pay his increase?
Yes. Filing the right to protest with the MIA does not automatically stay the action, and John is still responsible for paying the increase while the MIA conducts our review. If the MIA overturns the premium increase, the insurer is required to return to John the amount of premium disallowed plus interest from the time the overpayment was received until it is returned. Had John's premium increase been more than 15%, he would still be responsible for paying the increase while the MIA reviews the protest, unless the MIA issues an order staying the action.
Thanks, Mary Jo. And next up, Kiana Walton has a few scenarios to present to you about shopping for automobile insurance.
Mary Jo, just a little bit of your expertise when it comes to shopping for insurance. So Justin recently graduated from college and got his first job. He is moving into his own apartment and needs to get auto insurance. While in school, he was insured under his parents' policy. Where can Justin start shopping for his own policy?
Justin may want to start with his parents' insurer. Many insurers have special discounts, such as claim-free discounts or accident forgiveness for long-term policyholders. Since Justin has been insured under his parents' policy, he may also qualify for these discounts. Also, when asking his insurance producer or other insurers for quotes, it's a good idea for Justin to make sure he is comparing similar coverages, limits, and deductibles. He may want to look at the MIA's rate comparison guide, which may be found on our agency's website, which is www.insurance.maryland.gov. And insurance and Maryland are spelled out, and that may assist him with his search.
Now, what coverages should Justin ask about?
Maryland requires each driver to maintain liability and uninsured, underinsured motorist coverages of at least $30,000 per person bodily injury, $60,000 bodily injury for 2 or more people per accident, and $15,000 in property damage. Justin may want to carry higher coverage limits since he may be held responsible for any additional damages and injuries if he was an at fault for the loss and the damages exceed these limits. If he has a loan on the car, The lender may also require that Justin secure comprehensive and collision coverage, often referred to as full coverage. Another issue for Justin to consider is what deductibles he can afford in the event of a loss. Justin will be responsible for the amount of the deductible in the event of a covered loss. Generally, the higher the deductible, the lower the premium, and the amount of deductible can vary between the type of coverage. For example, many people have a lower deductible for comprehensive coverage and a higher one for collision. Justin may also want to consider additional coverages, such as rental reimbursement, towing, and roadside assistance. Justin can also obtain towing and emergency roadside assistance by joining a motor club instead of adding it to his insurance policy. When speaking with the insurance producer or insurer, Justin may want to ask about other types of coverage the insurer may offer and also request quotes with different coverage limits and deductibles to help him determine what coverages and limits he can afford.
So Ted currently has auto insurance on an older car with liability only coverage. He is shopping for a new car and will need to change his insurance coverage. Is there anything Ted should keep in mind while shopping for his new car that may affect the cost of his insurance?
The cost to insure different cars varies. For example, a high performance vehicle may cost more to insure than a standard vehicle. The vehicle equipment and options may also impact the cost to insure. The car's safety equipment, such as airbags, anti-lock brakes, or crash avoidance systems, may affect the cost of insurance. Once Ted narrows his choices down to a few cars, he may wish to ask his insurance producer or insurer for quotes on each vehicle before he makes his selection.
Now, does Ted need to add the new car to his insurance policy before he leaves the dealership?
It is a good idea for Ted to contact his insurer or insurance producer before taking possession of the vehicle and leaving the dealer's lot, since whether he will have coverage will depend upon the terms of his current insurance policy and also whether he is still keeping his current car on the policy. Some insurers provide a grace period during which an insured can add a new vehicle, but this grace period may only be available if the current car is taken off the policy. But other insurers do not provide any grace period, so Ted would need to buy a new policy before he left the dealership with the new car. When purchasing a new vehicle, it is a good idea to discuss your coverage needs with your insurance producer or insurer before you take possession of the vehicle, and then add it to the policy if applicable. Ted or any other shoppers can always check our website, again, www.insurance.maryland.gov, for our rate guide and brochures which assist consumers and provides tips when shopping for auto, homeowners, and renters insurance.
Thank you, Mary Jo. I know Ted and Justin appreciates the information. Thank you.
They are quite welcome.
Thanks, Kiana, and thanks, Gia, and thanks, Mary Jo. We're going to put a slide up in a minute with a little bit of contact information, and then I'm going to go on to the Q&A portion. Looks like I don't have any questions in the chat. If you do have any questions for Mary Jo, please go ahead and put those questions in the chat. The slide in front of you shows our phone numbers, our 800 number and our 410 number, as well as our website. Rate guide information, if you're shopping for auto insurance, can be found at that link there. If you don't follow that link, you can go insurance.maryland.gov under consumers and then choose auto, and that will take you directly to that link. Under that link, you're going to see different sections because we've broken up the automobile information into different sections because we do have a lot. You can scroll down to rate. The first link is going to show you the PDF of the rate guide. You can go ahead and download that if that's what you want to look at. And then the link underneath that is our new interactive version of the rate guide. And so with that, you're going to be able to input some information, and it's going to line you up with the rate scenario. It's a little bit more user-friendly, but if you want to see all the information that goes into the rates itself, you want to look at the PDF as well. So I do recommend either one of them or both of them. If you do have questions, my email address is up here as well. You can send questions later and I can get those to Mary Jo. It does look like we have a question now. Mary Jo, there's a significant increase to my premium. When I renew in July 2022, they told me due to inflation. Does that sound acceptable? I paid $1,490 last year. This year, it's increased, he said by, but I think he means to $1,844.
That is correct. There can be two types of premium increases. One is a premium increase that is specifically tied to one policyholder, again, because of accidents, tickets, losses of discounts, and those are the ones that would receive the right to protest those increases. The other type of increase is what's called a general rate increase. That is when an insurance company files with us to increase their rates across the board by a specific percentage. They must include with that filing supporting information to show why they need to make that rate increase. We are seeing significant rate increases, and this is due to, again, we're seeing expenses increase across the board from everything from food to gasoline. The cost to an insurer has increased again because of the across the board increases in everything. So the cost to repair a vehicle, the cost of a contractor coming out to do a repair on a home, these are all factors that an insurer is now faced with. So unfortunately, they have to pass those increases on to their policyholders. So if there is no right to protest, then that means when you got that notice of the increase, that it is a general across the board increase. And we are seeing that with many insurance companies. An option is, again, to go to our website to review our rate guide or use the interactive rate guide to see if there's maybe you can find same coverages at a lower cost.
All right, looks like he has a follow-up question. Is there somewhere in the MIA website that I can confirm the increased rate approved for a certain provider?
I'm unaware of any place that we can. I don't know if Cheryl or Joy would have more information on that, but there's nothing on our website where you can confirm it, but I don't know if there's a way to confirm it other than I can tell the people that Maryland consumers that before they utilize these rate increases, they do have to file those with us, and they are reviewed and approved before those rate increases are utilized.
So Mary Jo, the consumer can file a complaint with us to ask and ensure that the increase is something that we have approved. So the consumer can go to our website, and on our website, there's a complaint form. Complete the complaint form and make sure you include all of the information. And what we'll do is make certain that the rate increase is in accordance with the insurance carrier's rate filing.
Thanks, Joy. You have another question, Mary Jo. From Pamela, my 19-year-old child lives with me. Is it required that I add him to my auto insurance even though he does not utilize my car?
If he is a licensed driver, you are required to notify the insurer. If for any reason, even on an emergency basis, he uses your vehicle and there is a loss involved with that use, they can deny the claim as he would have been a non-disclosed resident relative. If you do not want him covered under the policy, you could ask the insurer if they would offer a driver exclusion. And then what it is, you would sign an agreement saying that you are aware he is excluded from operating your vehicle. And that if at any point he does use the vehicle and there is a loss, the insurance company will not have to pay that claim. Even if he's at fault, they can exclude coverage to the other party that files the claim against you. So insurers also oftentimes run something called an ads report, which is additional driver discovery. And if they determine that there is a licensed, someone licensed living in the household, they may go ahead and add them onto the policy. If he has his own vehicle, his own insurance, you may want to let your insurance company know that as well, because that may be sufficient to keep them from requiring you to add him to the policy.
All right, thanks, Mary Jo. Another question. Is there any place on MIA's website that offers the premium rate comparison? Okay, I can go ahead and answer that. If you look at the slide that's up right now, rate guide information, and you follow that link. If I know you can't click on the link. And so if you go to insurance.maryland.gov, you're going to see a link that says consumers near the top. If you click on consumers, you're going to see then a list of different insurance products. If you click on the one that says, like auto, RV, motorcycle, I believe, click on that one. And then under that column on that next page, you're going to go ahead and you're going to be able to see the information for automobile rates. And if you have any questions, you can email me to patricia.dorn@maryland.gov. All right, so I don't see any more questions from the chat. Go ahead and put in questions if you still have some, but I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap it up here. Yeah, you're welcome. So join us next week on Thursday, July 28th at noon. We're going to have a lunch with Mia where we're going to focus on homeowners insurance next week. We're going to talk about reasons to keep homeowners insurance after you've paid off your home. Okay, so if you have, parents, grandparents out there who've paid off their home and, are not carrying homeowners insurance currently, you might want to tell them about this and sign up. We're going to talk to them about reasons that you should keep your homeowners insurance even after you've paid off your mortgage. We're going to talk about what force-placed homeowners insurance is. We're going to go through some shopping tips for homeowners insurance, and then we're going to be stepping you through how to use our homeowners insurance rate guide. And so that is going to be Thursday, July 28th. So next Thursday. And then also, as most of you know, some parts of Northern Maryland experienced extensive damage from a powerful storm last week. So this Thursday through Saturday, the Maryland Insurance Administration will be hosting an after the storm assistance center, and this is going to be virtual. We're going to be doing a brief presentation about insurance issues related to storm damage. And then afterwards, we'll have breakout rooms so we can answer your questions and potentially help you with insurance issues that you might be currently experiencing. And again, in those breakout rooms, the session itself is recorded, but the breakout rooms themselves, that's private, and that's between an MIA representative and you. This is going to be held from 12 to 2 on Thursday. So from noon to 2 on Thursday, and then from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday, and then again from noon to 2 on Saturday. Joyce just put that information up, and you can find the link to this on our website, insurance.maryland.gov. We do encourage you to pass the word if you know somebody who had damage from the storm last week, or you know somebody who's struggling with their insurance issues related to that storm. Thanks, Joyce. In the chat, you can also see a link to sign up to receive information about future presentations and our in-person events. So if you're interested in knowing when these virtual presentations are coming up or where we're going to be in person, you can sign up for that and you will get that information as well. And as well, she has shared a presentation feedback link. It's a survey, and we do appreciate feedback on this presentation. You know, did this answer the questions that you came here to get answered? And, you know, how did you feel about this event itself? So presentation feedback is very much appreciated, and you will find those links in the chat. So with that, I just want to say thanks to everyone who attended today. And we hope to see you at our next event in the future. And don't forget to spread the word, please, about the disaster centers that we're going to be hosting virtually later this week. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.